It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is What Made the Cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Trajan Wealth brings you this portion of the program. TRAJANwealth.com. Trajan Wealth for all your trusted local needs in retirement. TrajanWealth.com. Joining us on the program, Matt Stevens, radio analyst for the UCLA Bruins. Matt, happy football season, man. Are you getting pumped for this one? Because there's a lot of question marks at quarterback. Utah's got question marks at quarterback. Everybody this weekend at the Rose Bowl has got questions about quarterbacks.
Well, this is going to be a really important game for both schools. I mean, because if you get a win, you can potentially go 3-0 and before you have to play someone tough. And you never want to start the season out with a loss. And I know it's a cliche, you got to win the opener. But, I mean, it is a big game for both schools.
We know a lot about Nico because of his time at Tennessee, but it's been tough to get to know a lot about this UCLA team because, and I understand it and I get it. Deshaun Foster hasn't been too open with what's going on. What can you tell us about UCLA right now and what we should expect from this team on Saturday?
Well, I mean, it's a very different team. I mean, they had 36 transfers, 21 true freshmen. Nico, of course, is the story, and I really like him. I mean, he's a competitor, winner. I mean, he's the hardest worker out there. If you had 21 other Nicos playing along Nico, I think UCLA would win the game. I mean, he's a great guy, a great kid, great personality. Everybody gravitates toward him. So he's, the leader of the team. And I think UCLA also has a really good running game. They have 4 running backs that can come in. And, of course, Javen Thomas for the Cal transfer, I really like him. They call him Jet. He's fast. UCLA, they're going to want to run the ball because they didn't run the ball very well last year.
When you look at the Utes coming into town, and it was a rare thing for Kyle Whittingham to have the year that they had last year, and UCLA and Utah have a recent history, and now they're outside of each other's conferences again, and after some time in the Pac-12 together. What do you make of this Kyle Whittingham team and trying to bounce back from what they saw as quite a bit of an outlier of what we've seen from Whit?
Well, it's really the same old medicine at Utah. I mean, they have a great defense. Scally always has a great third down defense. They stop the run. It's going to be the same thing this year. I mean, 2 big linebackers in the middle, good D-line. And then, of course, 2 Outland Trophy candidates, on the offensive line. The game's going to be won at the line of scrimmage. And UCLA, they're bigger this year. They're more like a Big Ten team. They're not like a Pac-12 offensive line or defensive line. They got guys in, 330, 340. Deshaun Foster's really made changes at the line of scrimmage. So this is going to be a physical one.
What can you tell us about Deshaun Foster now year 2 as the head coach at UCLA? What are some of the progress you saw with him as a head coach? What are some of the things that he had to learn, some of the tough lessons he had to learn that are allowing him to be a better coach year 2?
Well, he brought in 7 new assistants. One of those was a coordinator. He's now the senior guy pretty much on the block. There's some coaches that are older than him, but this is his staff. Last year he started late. He really had to, patchwork things together. This year, he's got everybody in place. In terms of Deshaun Foster, I mean, he really relates to his players. They really gravitate to him. They like him. He understands the portal. He understands the NIL. But believe it or not, he's a hard ass. I mean, he'll jump on them, and he's from old school. He gets up early in the morning, runs, and that's the way he wants this team to be. And when he talks, everybody listens.
When you look at this matchup, it's Utah's defenses are always pretty darn good. Morgan Scally dials them up. Coach Witt, that's his specialty as well. What's the UCLA defense look like in terms of the strength that they're going to be bringing into this season?
Well, there were 4 guys that were drafted off last year's defense for UCLA, so a lot of holes to fill. Kaika Malloy, I think he's one of the top echelon defensive coordinators. They've done a good job in the portal. I like the linebackers. Jalen Woods. He's like a running back playing linebacker. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be close to 100 tackles this year. Anthony Jones is coming in as an edge rusher. UCLA desperately needed an edge rusher, and he's the guy. And the entire secondary has been replaced, and the corners have some speed. This is a defense, though, that is going to rely on the big guys in the middle, defensive tackle. That's where those 330 and 340-pounders are.
Even with Nico transferring in, the expectations outside of the program aren't very high. They were picked to finish 16th in the Big Ten. I think I got that right, 16th. And what are the expectations inside the program? What do they expect to accomplish this season?
They're going to win. I mean, they on paper, you look at the schedule, it's so much easier than last year. I see 7-8 wins just on paper. And that's why it's so important, for UCLA to start off, against Utah and try and get a win. But it's an easier schedule, like I said. And I think this team has enough firepower, and they've done well in the transfer portal where they have the guys that could compete. And it's not going to be, going on the road, in Penn State. You got to go to Ohio State, but it's just not as tough as it was last year.
This team, following them, it's just one of those things where you look, and USC's kind of been going through this too, where going into the Big Ten's been a different transition for them. What's the future of this Big Ten? Like, is it sustainable to have just this wide open? Like, I know going through it the first couple of years of how wild the travel has been. I know these people talk about the other sports, but from a football perspective, is this going to work long term? And obviously, being in the Big Ten is a great spot to be in from a financial standpoint for these programs. But how have you seen it over how this thing worked over the past 12 months?
Okay, for the football teams, it's no big problem. And Deshaun Foster's going to adjust this year. He's going to fly out on the road on Thursday.
Oh.
That was one thing that was tough on the players. You get there on Friday, you wake up, there's a 3-hour time change, and you're playing, early morning games. So he's going out on Thursday. But, for these players, being on a plane, a couple extra hours, it's not a big deal. For the other sports, I think it's really tough. Football, it's a piece of cake.
How's the adjustment been for fans, administrators, boosters, supporters of UCLA to be in the Big Ten? Utah for a short time was part of the Pac-12/Pac-10. UCLA's tradition goes way back in the Pac-10. How is everyone adjusting to it? Is the fan base coming along with this and starting to enjoy and appreciate it?
Yeah, the fan base for UCLA, they like the opponents that UCLA's playing week in, week out. And also, it's sort of like the Chargers when they were in San Diego. It's an opponent's fans' destination game. Yeah. Everybody wants to go out to LA, and want to go out to LA in November. You don't even have to wear a jacket. You're coming from the snow. So I've seen a lot of opponents' fans showing up at these games, anywhere between 15, 20,000 people. And that really helps the attendance at the Rose Bowl. But they're just better games. They're fun to watch. They're more – I love the Pac-12. Don't get me wrong. I thought it never should have been broken up. But, this is pretty cool for UCLA and its fan base.
When you look at these, by the way, we're chatting with the radio analyst for the UCLA Bruins, Matt Stevens. Nice enough to join us on a game week as they get ready for this thing. And obviously, there's so many questions going into every season, and we overdo it. Every year we do the same thing where we just over-talk the heck out of these teams. But the reality is there's so many question marks going into the season and how these teams are going to be handled. What's the thing that excites you the most about this Bruins team, though, this year?
It's a quarterback. Everybody was complaining, when Nico left Tennessee and he came to UCLA, you find out he's a great guy. You also talk to his family on the sidelines at practices. They're great people. He's from California. He wanted to come home. And he really has that star effect, I think, on the football team. You look out at practice and you're like, who's that 6'6" guy slinging it all over the field? And by the way, his brother, who was going to Arkansas, then came back, now he's going to UCLA. He might be even better than Nico. He can really sling it. The ball comes out of his hand pretty cool. But, it's just fun to have a star like Nico on the team.
It wasn't a long period of time, but Utah and UCLA in the same conference was fun. There was a lot of great games between the two teams. I'm sure you had your favorite moments. For the fans, is it a little bit fun to have a season opener against a familiar Power 4 opponent?
Oh, of course. The thing about Utah, they've been kicking the crap out of UCLA lately. It's been in favor of the Utes. So, UCLA fans know what Utah does. They're going to kick you in the teeth, and they're going to come after you. They understand how tough they are. Kyle Whittingham, I really like him, respect him. I think he's a great coach. Lucky, he's there in Salt Lake City. But, UCLA knows this is going to be a very physical game, and it's going to be interesting to find out if they're tough enough to play, Utah. And most of the time when you have a Big 12 playing a Big 10, you wouldn't say that.
Matt Stevens, radio analyst for the UCLA Bruins, joining us on the program here. Matt, we appreciate it. Have fun on the call this weekend, and so many of our colleagues are headed down to cover this one, and we're looking forward to a start of the season with a non-FCS matchup, for heaven's sakes. I want to see more of those in the future, but we appreciate your time, and we're looking forward to Saturday.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I'm going to go listen to the Bee Gees right now.
Oh,
there
see?
you go.
Told you. I appreciate it.
Matt's just staying alive today.
You're in.
Is that my timeout?
You're in pun jail.
I'm sorry. Couldn't resist.